Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bamboo Batu. Today, I'm going to tell you about something incredible. A super good time I had the other day. I'm going to skip all of the humorous commentary that I usually start out with, and I'm going to go straight to the meat of this presentation because this is an amazing thing that I found out about just about a month or two ago. It is the Bamboo Bike Tours in Barcelona. If you're planning a trip to Barcelona, which would be a great trip to take, I can highly recommend it as a tourist destination. Whether you're coming from the US or Europe or anywhere else, Barcelona is a world class city for visiting. Great sights, great weather, great food, nice beaches, and it's a great place to ride a bike. And what better bike to ride than a bamboo bike? Of course, this is Bamboo Batu after all. We specialize in all things bamboo. Check out the website, bambubatu.com. Bamboo Batu. But if you're going to Barcelona, check out bamboobiketour.com. I'm not going to spell it because it's easy to spell. Bamboobiketour.com. It's right there on the screen. If you want to take a tour of Barcelona, this is the way to do it. It is super fun. It's an easy city to get around in because it's flat, easy on a bike, that is. If you're in a car, it's a nightmare to get around. I do not recommend a driving tour of Barcelona unless you're like an adrenaline junkie or you just thrive off of traffic. But on a bike, it's great. You just bob and weave in between the cars, dodge the pedestrians, try not to hit any tourists. And it's nice and flat for the most part. There's a couple hilly parts of the city which you can choose to venture into or skip it altogether. But we stayed on the flat parts and we saw a great deal of the city. It's not a huge city. It's maybe 1 million or 2 million or something. I forgot to check it out, but you can Google it or use your other favorite search engine, figure out the population. But this is a population of two. This is me and my friend Liu Jiang. She was visiting from China. She's a bamboo specialist, which is why we decided to meet up because we share a common passion for bamboo. And I said, hey, you know what we should do? We should take a bamboo bike tour of Barcelona. And she said, heck yeah, let's do it. So yeah, we did it. And yeah, it was a bike tour that couldn't be beat. Mr. Florent, he moved from France to Barcelona some years ago. He started a bamboo bike tour shop. He started making bicycles out of bamboo. He makes the bikes right there. They're not imported from anywhere else. He uses local bamboo as much as possible from some different farms in Spain. There's not a whole lot of bamboo farming in Spain, but there's enough to produce a couple dozen bikes in his shop. You can see he's got some really cool bikes here, a few different designs that really showcase the bamboo as the primary material used in the bicycles. But they also have all the important features of a quality mountain bike or cruiser bike. They're really set up for cruising, for getting around the city and seeing the sights. And it was a great tour. And he's not paying me to say this or anything. I'm just telling you out of the kindness of my heart because he was a great guy. And my loyal viewers and listeners, I really admire you guys, and I want you to know about this great opportunity. So check it out. Here's a close up of some of his pieces that he uses on there. He's got that U-shaped fork that goes on the front of the bike that really again showcases the bamboo material that goes into the bikes. It looks super cool from the front. It looks good from the sides. It's comfortable to sit on it. It gets around the city super well. And so that's what we did. We got around the city. I think they also rent bikes. No, actually, what I was going to say was I think they don't rent bikes. I think you have to do the guided tour. But I'm not sure about that. If you just wanted to rent a bike and do a self-guided tour, you can check with him. But they're great tours. Also, it's not just a bamboo bike. It's also a great tour. The guy knows. He's got a few people working for him, and they all know all the ins and outs of the city, and you can get all the local inside details and history. It's super interesting, super good time. Um, and we saw some other people there. They were showing up around the same time we showed up. It was around midday, and it seemed to be. I think they were from Connecticut, family, mom and dad, a couple kids. They were looking to take a bike tour of the city. They didn't even realize that they were bamboo bikes. They just wanted to take a bike tour, and so they found this place, and it was called Bamboo Bike Tours. they had no idea why it was called Bamboo Bike Tours. They just thought it was a catchy name, and they showed up, and sure enough, the bikes were made out of bamboo, and they were somehow surprised by that fact, which is pretty funny. But it just goes to show you that it's important to have a good product when you're dealing with bamboo. You can't just have bamboo and expect bamboo to do all the work and promoting and attracting clientele. You actually have to have a good business going on. So they've got a great business. Just so happens to be bamboo. Many of their customers, again, don't even realize that until they get there. People like me, of course, we're going to seek out the bamboo stuff because we're crazy about bamboo. But most people would be just showing up just to get a good bike tour, and they pick Florent to show them around the city, and it happens to be a bamboo bike, and he's got a whole fleet of bikes, different styles. You can see the one I'm sitting on there. It's kind of a cruiser style, so you kind of lean back a little bit instead of being hunched over the handlebars. It makes it a lot easier to see the city and look up and see the buildings and the cathedrals and the interesting cityscape. So that design was very thoughtful for tourists. Our first stop on the bike tour, we zipped down to the beach, down to the harbor, where there is a giant statue of Christopher Columbus pointing out to the sea. You'd think he'd be pointing towards North America or towards Puerto Rico or somewhere in the Caribbean where he set sail, but he's actually pointing kind of to the southeast, I think. In any case, there's a story about that, which if you take the tour, you get the whole story. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You have to actually go to Barcelona and get the story on that one. But you can see we're having a great time on our bikes. We have different styles, a couple different types of bikes there that we're using. I was going to say something else. So yeah, the bike spot, the tour rental spot is pretty conveniently located. It's off a couple blocks off of the Rambla. The Rambla is like the main touristy pedestrian zone in Barcelona. On the one side of the Rambla, you have the Gothic district, which is a super interesting historical area with a cathedral and the little windy, narrow cobblestone streets. And then on the other side of the Rambla is a different little neighborhood, which has also got some interesting stuff going on, including the Bamboo Bike Tour shop. So it's pretty easy to find, and it's a quick little ride down to the harbor. The harbor is a beautiful spot to visit. I hadn't really seen so much of it. I go to Barcelona a couple times a year because I live about an hour and a half away, but I saw a lot of spots I hadn't been to before, including this cool hotel. It's not even made out of bamboo, but I had to take a picture of it. Glass and steel and more glass and mirrors. It's meant to look kind of like a sailboat. It's right there on the waterfront, luxury hotel. Anyway, it's pretty cool. And then, of course, any trip to Barcelona would not be complete without a stop at the Sagrada Familia, the great famous cathedral designed by Spanish architect Antonio Gaudí. It's an ongoing work in progress. It's been in progress for over 100 years. Gaudí died in 1926, so we're coming up on the 100th anniversary. And there was an idea that when he died, it would take another 100 years to finish the cathedral. And so there's been people placing bets on whether or not they would meet that timeline. As far as I can tell, they're nowhere near finished. But people like to think that they'll finish in the next 2 years. But I think people have been saying that for the last 50 years, that the project is nearing completion. So it's nearing completion, and it probably always will be. But in the meantime, it's an amazing spot to visit. We rode around outside, admiring all the great little sculptures, and it's amazing. I can't even find the words to explain how amazing it is. Every little detail tells a story from mostly from biblical history, the life of Jesus. One side is the birth, the Christmas story of how Jesus was born in the manger and so on, and the other side is all kinds of depictions of the crucifixion story and the resurrection. So it's the whole life of Jesus told in pictures and sculptures and carvings and engravings, and it's all like kind of psychedelic too. At the same time, especially when you look in the inside and all the stained glass windows and all the colors and it's very nature inspired, all natural shapes. You don't have a lot of corners and angles and sharp edges, but it's all very fluid and flowing, and it's a bit psychedelic. I think that's the best word to describe it. Probably the most psychedelic Christian cathedral in Europe, as well as being probably the most amazing. It's unlike any other. There are many impressive cathedrals in Europe, but this one is in a class of its own. Highly recommend checking it out. And it's easy to get to on a bamboo bike. So, yeah, check it out. We didn't go inside because we were just cruising around outdoors on our bikes. And it's really hard to get a picture of it. If you want to get a picture of yourself and your bike and the cathedral all in one snapshot, it's hard to do. So, this is mostly a picture of us on our bikes, which you'll see. We took a lot of pictures of us on our bikes. Here we are with our bamboo bikes in front of some government building. There's a government agent standing out in front, making sure we're not getting up into any shenanigans, and which of course we were not. We were abiding all the local laws and regulations on our bikes, as far as I know. And we had a great time. This building, I don't remember what it was, but it was nice to look at. And it was right next to a big park. There's a really cool park, kind of central-ish Barcelona, not far from the beach, with some great gardens, some nice areas to just kind of lay out and have a picnic. If you're going to spend any more than a day or two, definitely set aside an afternoon to have a little picnic in the park. I don't remember the name of the park, but it's a centrally located park. It's near the Arc de Triomphe, which is another great landmark in the city, which we rode past, but I was unable to get a photo of it. I was also unable to get any good video footage, so that's why it's just a slideshow that we're doing here, because it's hard to get video footage while riding the bike without violating any local laws and regulations, which, as I mentioned earlier, is of utmost importance to me. And so, yeah, we cruised around. We stopped at this building. Here's a better picture. You can see the whole building. And the park I was talking about with the big fountain. There's a couple of hooligans hanging out in the city. You know, there's a lot of shoplifting. What do you call it? Pickpocketing. People are talking about all the pickpockets in Barcelona these days. You got to watch out for. But apart from the pickpockets, you also got to watch out for these two shady characters. Here's something else I saw on the tour, and I thought, you know what, that's a funny looking vehicle. And the guys inside the vehicle thought, yeah, we got a pretty cool vehicle. I bet you want to take our picture. But what I was really thinking was that would be 100 times more cool vehicle if it was made out of bamboo. Something like that definitely could be made out of bamboo. I'm sure if you go to Vietnam or Thailand or someplace, you can get a little ride in one of those, and it would be made out of bamboo. And maybe in a couple more years, Barcelona will have a little bamboo rickshaw type of a vehicle like that to tour the city. Anyway, that was me having a little bamboo daydream while we were waiting at the intersection for the light to change. It was a good time. It was a super good time. Definitely recommend it. I learned a lot about the city. Like I said, I go there two or three or four times a year for various things because we're a couple hours outside the city. And I thought I knew the city pretty well, but I learned a lot on this tour. Super knowledgeable, super fun bikes. If you want to know how to build a bamboo bike and how to design and do that kind of construction, building, design work, they can give you all kinds of tips on that too, because they do all their own bikes. They've got multiple designs. They've been improving and refining the designs of the bikes for some years now, and it's an amazing thing. And look at that big smile on my face. Nothing says heck yeah like a smile of that size. So yeah, heck yeah, we had a great time. We took about a 3-hour tour. We stayed on the flat parts of the city, saw pretty much all the main sites, except for there's a big park up in the kind of north part of the city where you have to go up the hills, which we didn't want to go up on all the hills to get to the park. But Park Güell, which was another Antonio Gaudí a creation filled with great sculptures and little buildings and lizards and tiles and mosaics and things like that. Definitely worth including on the tour. Lots of other stuff. Obviously, I only got a few pictures squeezed into this, but check out Bamboo Bike Tours. They also have tours in Ibiza. That's a little island over there next to Mallorca. They've got a couple other cities where they offer the tour. If you check the website, you can see where they are. They only operate in Spain at the moment, but he's looking to expand into into France, I think, and other touristy cities. And I have to say, if I can find another city that offers a bamboo bike tour, I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna let you know right here. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're all fired up to book a trip to Barcelona. If you do, let me know. Maybe I can meet you there, and we can get a mojito or something because it's not too far, and it's a great city to visit. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.